Hi, everybody. This is Teacher at Home, and today I'm going to do another book review. Today's book review is about by Laurie Halsey Anderson. And I should begin by saying this book is extremely popular among teenagers. It is a book that is, again, tackles mature content, and I think that's really important for parents to know. So, first off, it's a very good book. It's a very good read, it's a compelling read, and if your child is taking this again from the school library or even from the public library because they've heard about this book, be aware that the book does handle mature themes. Again, this is not a fantasy book, it's not a vampire book, it is a social issue book, and really it is a teenage experience book. I wouldn't quite say coming of age, but certainly that's the genre. But let me address the primary quick recap of the summary and then the issue that I personally think is important for parents to know about this book. So understand it's a very popular book, it's a great book, and it's very well written. And kudos to Laurie Anderson for her work here. Um, this book is about a 13-year-old girl named Melinda who attends a party in between middle school and high school. And at that party, she gets raped. And it's kind of graphic. In fact, it's a graphic enough that you might want to be aware of that as a parent. It's not a long, extended scene, but it's enough to raise an issue. Now, because of what happens to her, Melinda phones the police, and the police break up the party. That makes her a pariah at school the next year, where she's the girl who called the cops on the party, and she's ostracized from everybody, even her best friend, who is still trying to position herself socially as she enters high school. And Melinda finds herself really isolated. And she can't really talk about what happens to her. She can't share it with anyone, and this creates more and more of a kind of a cyclical emotional duress that she undergoes. However, eventually she does do a little bit of outreach, and I'm not going to do any spoilers and tell it to you, but she discovers that the person who attacked her is has a reputation of being kind of creepy and uh, unworthy of respect, for lack of a better term. And she starts to kind of come out of that self as she realizes that she's a victim, but she's a victim by somebody who is a victimizer. She's not simply a random victim who's over kind of reacting to what happened to her. And the book does end up with Melinda discovering her personal power and coming out of this in, I think, probably the most positive way she can. It does get kind of hairy at the end and exciting and all of that stuff. And it is like I said, it's a very popular book, but it does deal with mature issues such as a young girl before high school getting raped at a party and how she handles the social and emotional stress of not only the experience, but being ostracized because she phones the police on the party because she's a kid who's been attacked. And so that brings up other issues of people who don't believe her when she says things, uh, and in that sense, it's a very important book. However, the reason why I bring this up as an issue that parents might be concerned about is because this book was assigned to my daughter as a book that she had to read between the eighth grade and ninth grade as she entered high school. So she was the age of the main character in this book, and the experiences were traumatic. And so, um, personally, I would say that although I can understand why people would think that that's the right age to read this book to prepare a girl for kind of what's coming. I don't know about that. I kind of don't accept that, especially when you have a more sheltered child, in which case you may be concerned that this book is a little too mature um, for your daughter or maybe even your son at that age. So I would say this book is really great for 15-year-olds, possibly 16-year-olds. But when you backtrack and say this is a book for eighth graders, then I think a parent needs to kind of be aware of the content that their child is engaging with, especially if this book is assigned in a class or assigned as reading from a school or an English department, as opposed to being a book the child chooses because she's heard great things about the book. So again, Speak by Laurie Anderson. It's a very popular book. It's an important book, and it's a book that has received a great deal of accolades, and deservedly so. I would just say if you're the parent of a younger girl, a younger child, middle school or just after middle school, who is reading this book, that you should be aware that the content is very mature. And you might want to have a conversation with your child um, about why they chose a book like this if you feel comfortable with that. Okay, so again, this is Teacher from Home giving a quick overview of the book Speak. Great book, um, tremendous accolades, award winning book. However, make sure that the child who's reading this book is of an age that is appropriate as far as the parents go are concerned. Okay. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, write some comments down below and let me know what you think. Do you like this kind of review? Do you want a more detailed review? Are you looking for spoilers? Because I don't like to give spoilers, but I do want to bring books to your attention that might have issues that parents should be aware of. However, I'm not only going to talk about books that parents will be aware of, I'm going to talk about a wide range of books. It just so happens that this book review addresses this very popular, very powerful book, and I want parents to know the issues involved. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.